Good question.
I,
More of these hardcore metalheads should join the WAG. They'll come
I
up with the
know.
next
I think
form.
so. I think that's a problem that, like, I was just talking about deathcore, but I think a lot of metal people in general, I've done it before too. We get wrapped up in this thing where we just define ourselves as an artist and we're very unique, but we are also like very disconnected from the other things that are going on in the genre. And so it distances us from what it is. And we start to get this feeling like, I don't even know if what I'm doing is right, or I don't, or I'm better than them. It can go a lot of different ways, but the best thing to do is feel like you're a part of the scene. It gives you inspiration. You feel like you're actually contributing something to the thing. So I think
There's
that's
also
super important.
there's also a stigmatism that if it's got clean vocals in it, it's not metal. There's
That
also
is
that
that has never been a true thing. Like some
I
of the,
know, but that's
yeah,
what a lot of people are saying today.
yeah. I just think that these the people that say blanket statements like that are also in a box because they
Yep.
fail to remember like the roots of metal come from bands like Deep Purple and Black Sabbath that were like the most fantastic singers in the world. These guys were singing, they weren't screaming, yelling, they weren't doing fart noises with their mouths. And yeah, Mavi brought up new metal. Even,
Yeah.
as much as I disliked a lot of the new metal bands, I thought it was cool that metal was receiving like a new injection of fans and they were doing something so different. It's like rap and metal and all these different things. Man, as much as I didn't like it, I was still on board for it. And I actually went to a bunch of like new metal shows. Don't
New
biscuit me,
metal,
bro.
new metal kept metal alive during that time period because during
I
that
don't
time
think,
period you had a lot of pop, you had a lot of rap, and country dominating. New metal
yeah.
kept it
There are
kept it
some
in the
genres
scene.
that I just don't. That's when I laugh when I hear people say, like, especially famous artists like Marilyn Manson going, like, metal is dead, rock is dead.
No,
It's
no,
just a sensationalist thing to say because
yeah,
you really can't kill a good genre no matter what. Like, it'll always come back around. And just because it's not in favor right now doesn't mean that there's not a scene somewhere or there's not
yeah.
people that are loving it. So I don't
That's
think that's true. I think that if new metal wouldn't have come around, another genre would have come around. Similar to
oh yeah.
that, yeah. I mean, it's just the way of the world. It's always the way. I'll just say, like, when metal was big during the MTV days, like, it started to saturate, and then another form of metal basically came about with the Seattle rise of all the Seattle bands, and it was fantastic. It was organic. It was like, and these guys were fighting hard. I'm not fighting, but they were
Hmm.
like really like performing harder than like a lot of the established bands were at the time. So they had every right for the eyes of the world to be on them. You know what I mean? They earned it, and
Oh
they had
yeah.
by having a scene. And when you have a music scene in your town and it's bringing in people from out of town and you're selling out shows on a Monday night, that's when stuff's starting to turn around for you. That's when all it's weird because you never go like this is the next big thing. All of a sudden you're in it. You're in it
Hmm.
or you're adjacent to it, and you're like, whoa, yeah, oh, you're like, I've been here this whole time, man. I remember this thing when it came. It's really wild, but you hardly ever can predict what's going to happen with any kind of sound or music. It's just wild the way and they try to, we got a lot of promoters and stuff. They try to artificially bump, they want you to like certain things or they want you to, and that's always going to be a thing. But no matter how hard they promote it, it's always going to be the music that stands above. So you can spend $1 billion on a music video. If the song sucks, the song sucks. It's not going to make
Yep.
it better.
I have a question.
Sure.
All right, so
Rusty.
being someone that believes in metal and everything, that someone that doesn't really listen to it or anything. Okay, so
Mhm.
let I want to give you two different genres of music that people listen to go in two
Sure.
different worlds of music. Now, how would somebody that's more into like hip hop or whatever
Hmm.
give if you were to try and get them to just appreciate metal, what would be like two bands that you would tell somebody that's in hip hop to
Easy.
check
I mean,
out?
it's kind of easy. The Beastie Boys, for one. The Beastie Boys, and I mean, they're really. I mean, no one can dispute that they were really like kind of a new thing. Bunch of white Jewish guys doing like rap over like rock and metal, and they were really good. And they kind of embodied a lot of the things that people never liked or never thought that would happen, and they kind of just fucking showed the world like this is a good way to do it, you know, like it wasn't necessarily the music also, it's the attitude, but you can't ignore songs like, you know, Fight for Your Right to Party. You know, they even got like the guitarist from Slayer, Kerry King, did the solos on a couple of their songs there. So yeah. And another band would be God, I don't know. I mean, there is more than you think when it comes to that, but
Body
I think
count.
What would be a
Body
band?
Body
count.
Count's already a metal band. I would say like
No, that's what I'm
maybe
saying. That's what I'm saying. Is give me a metal band for me to check out. Like I'm into hip hop, and you're telling me
oh, a metal band.
Devastator.
Okay.
Devastator. Devastator would probably be up your alley.
No.
something that you would think that I would switch over to. Like be like,
I
all
would
right,
say
we'll listen to this.
you've probably already heard the bands that I would suggest you listen to. Like Korn is a good example.
Yeah.
Korn is like a lot of rap based lyrics, even though they don't exactly rap, it has like the flow of rap with this really dissonant, like really hardcore kind of style music, and it really fits together in a good
But what if
way.
he doesn't want? What if he's wanting to get into just metal, not have any rap to it? What's a good
Uh
starting? What's a good one that he can
well,
grab
you
hold
could
of the metal scene with?
you for me, I would suggest like the original bands like Black Sabbath,
Yeah,
stuff that's really easy to get into, that's classical, that you probably have heard before, you know, even bands like Judas Priest and Iron Maiden. These here's a good one, Def Leppard. Okay,
yeah.
when you hear Def Leppard, you're kind of like, wow, that's kind of sugary rock, right? But if you go back in their catalog just a little bit, they were a driving force of the new wave of British heavy metal. In 1983, they came out with Pyromania, and it hit. I mean, I think I was 14, and I bought that record, and I played it nonstop. And I had heard, you know, a lot of Def Leppard stuff before. I wasn't phased that they were a little happier sounding and stuff. But I think I think that I would say go for bands that have hooks, melodies, and stuff like that in them, stuff that you can
Queens,
actually sing to because it builds something in your mind that you have a positive feeling with. Instead of,
Queensryche
I
had
would never
some
say
pretty
that
heavy ones. Queensryche
Queensryche is
had,
good. They're very
yeah,
progressive, and so it
yeah,
might turn off a casual listener. I would say stuff that makes you feel happy already and that is
yeah,
not too complicated that you're scratching your brain going, what are they doing here? It's almost like a good example is Aerosmith. They're a hard rock band, but they have a lot of different sounds in them.
yeah.
And so when you listen to
Scorpions would be
them,
great.
you get a really I mean everything they do is very polished. They're not necessarily heavy metal, but they're a good stepping stone in that direction. And so
Yeah.
sometimes diving right in is not a great thing. You want to kind of take steps. So one of the biggest bands that for me that got me into metal was AC/DC, because AC/DC is like one of these three chord bands that really there's nothing really complex about them, but they have these very deep, very like anthem like songs that you can
Yeah.
like you remember you'll know 100 AC/DC songs and you'll be like more, you know what I mean?
I'm curious,
So
Jason. What do you
yeah.
think about Quiet Riot, something like that?
Quiet Riot was a great band too. They were really
Yeah.
good.
Great band.
Unfortunately, they fell off really hard. Some of the bands
That's
that really were, you know, had a great start and were really good didn't support themselves as much as they should have, and they kind of relied on their one-hit wonder kind of thing.
You're right.
There was a lot of bands at the time that were like that. Another band was Rat, but instead of, you know, just saying
Round
we
and
did a
round. I read that
yeah,
song.
yeah. Instead of settling with that, they followed it up with a couple of albums that were like, you know, really, really good. They stayed on the radar for as long as they could.
Oh, shit.
Unfortunately, if they fell to addiction and, you know, were among all the saturated bands, there was a lot of good bands that came up in a time when there was this just like smothered with music. Bands like Guns N' Roses, you know,
Mm-hmm.
came up from a place
Twisted
where
Sister.
at first they sounded like every other band, you know what I mean? It took a lot of hard work on their part. A lot of people forget like they came from LA. They were like one of the hardest working bands. They were playing a show every weekend for like 5 years straight before the scene even hit. These guys were like, and they were very different from the sound that they had eventually. So yeah, I got a little far from the question there, Rusty, but like
The original
some of
question,
the
right?
some
But
of the old
okay, so on the hip hop part, all right, I got that one. Now,
yeah.
would you give that same list to if you were trying to sell metal to somebody that was more into the country genre? You pulled them over.
That's a good question. Yeah, I think I would. I would just give them bands
Yeah.
that weren't so heavy. Like I would definitely say Def Leppard because I think Def Leppard has a lot of
I got one. Remember
a lot
Warrant?
of qualities that
What about
they,
Warrant?
Warrant, yeah, Warrant's another band where they have a lot of qualities where
Mhm.
their songs are very structured and they're very melodic. So I think a lot of country fans are fans of a hook, of a singable chorus, and I think that's
Yeah.
something that,
Amazing music.
early metal and the new wave of British heavy metal did really good. They got songs that think of Whitesnake. Remember the band Whitesnake?
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a time when they had like 3 or 4 songs on Billboard charts in the top 10, and every one of them was completely different from each other, but yet we were singing them all. And like, even if we were like, oh, that's pussy rock, that's pussy metal, we don't like that, you still would listen to it. And if someone put it on at a party, you wouldn't be like, this sucks. Another band is Tesla. I don't know if you guys are
Oh,
familiar with that
Yeah.
Tesla's
band.
a great band for
Everybody listened to
transitioning
them. Like,
country to rock.
there was a lot of bands at the time where it didn't matter what kind of metal or what actually even what kind of music you listen to. If you put on some of these songs from some of these bands, you'd be like, yeah, that's all right. I don't mind that. That's why I always bring up AC/DC. Although they are a little heavy, they are very easy to listen to if you get into it. They have a lot of different variety in their songs.
Ask
And
that
the, and
from
the
them
vocal
two
tone,
genres.
the vocal tone of AC/DC was very different.
Yeah, yeah,
From
Probably
definitely.
them
a
two
different tone
genres
also.
because people that are more into hip hop and more into or the other side more into country, when you say
Right.
metal, first thing that pops in their heads is like
Slipknot,
screaming,
Lamb of
like some
God, Slayer. Yeah,
screaming stuff. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So
That's why.
to adjust them over to get to that level of metal, if this would be your list that you would
Yeah,
give.
and I would even go a little further back, and I would say bands like Creedence Clearwater Revival and like Leonard Skinner would actually make a country
Uh,
fan cross over into rock,
How
and
about
then it'd
Billy
be
Squier?
no
Kansas,
Remember Billy
problem.
Squier?
Kansas,
Kansas.
Billy Squier, remember him?
Billy Squier. Billy Squier
Good.
was really good too.
Yeah,
Like
dude.
a very hard rock guy, but like very
Steppenwolf.
sensible
Steppenwolf,
music
another
and
one.
lyrics. Everybody wants some.
Everybody, yeah, Steppenwolf.
So yeah, I
Mr.
mean,
November.
I think that if honestly, if somebody that I knew was a country fan, I would ask them, what kind of music, what kind of country they like, and then I would kind of just like use my brain and go, there's a starting point. For me, I was a little kid, so I was a blank slate, and I listened to everything, so it wasn't hard for me to find something that I really liked that resonated with me. But if you have a jaded, musician that really is into something, it's still not that hard to point them in a direction. You just have to have a little bit of knowledge about, where it came from and where it goes,
So if you listen to Spinal Tap, that's country music.
Well, their amps go to 11.
Yeah, so I would say if somebody
That's metal.
if someone likes country, I would point them towards like Leonard Skinner and Creedence Clearwater Revival and have them listen to that.
Seeger.
Yeah.
Bob Seger, yes. Oh my God, yes.
Miller.
I appreciate that. Hey, listen, I might try that. I might try to hit a genre like that. I mean,
I think everybody should step outside of their real
yeah.
box at least once in a while and try something. Trust me, even if you do it for just the fun, you will have so much fun and have a positive experience from it. And it
Yeah.
builds it will build you
Hey,
inside. You'll feel like you're
look,
inspired and you'll have that much more strength to do the thing that you do,
but
You're
since
like,
these
oh,
last two, these last two rounds getting paired up with DJ Chases on the first one and then maybe on the second one, going from that genre to this genre, it was a big stretch through. So I kind
you
of
did
had to
good.
hit.
You guys, everybody did really good. Everybody,
Hell yeah.
I want to commend everybody in the contest for doing such a good job with all the tracks they've been putting out.
But now,
Really, really good.
I'm already
hey,
sitting here working on my new one.
I knew you would
look,
be. I knew you would be. You're like
listen,
me.
I ain't gotta work on my new one. I'm almost finished with my new one, so that I've been here. I started that one this morning. I didn't know I was
So,
getting this. I didn't
I'm
know
a
I was
pretty
gonna get
open guy. If you guys ever have any questions, it doesn't necessarily have to be about metal. It can be about rock or it can be about anything that you think that, you don't really know about. And I might have something for
Polka.
you, I have opinions. They may not be the right ones, but I do know a lot about music and I know
Oh,
like someone got reggae and it's not that hard. Like you can link rock to reggae. So if you like rock,
oh
you
yeah.
can, anyways, Yeah. It's easier than you think is the answer. You would think it would be really hard, but I've heard people like that were into metal and they were like, I want to make a rap song. Well, just look at some of the Eminem stuff, you know. I always look at like hardcore gangster rap, and that inspires me. Believe it or not, like the delivery, like some of Ice Cube stuff, it just reminds me of metal so much. And when I hear it, I'm like, oh, I just want to do, you know, I may not do that thing, but I'll do some, you know, I'll do something inspired by that, you know what I
A
mean?
lot of
And
times
NWA,
you can
not a lot
listen
of
to
times
the
it's
you can listen
I
to the
might try to
cadence and
come that
rhythm
way, but
of their vocals and get you can listen to the rhythm and cadence of their vocals, and I mean right there that's the metal
it's
rhythms right
heavy.
there.
It's definitely
Yeah,
heavy. Sometimes it's not even the delivery, it's the actual lyrical content.
yeah.
Somebody can sing something with a very light tone and something and have it be devastating, you know what I mean? And you're like, what? You know, you start crying, you're like, it's not me, it's you. You're crying, you know, this is nothing. Like you guys like Patsy Cline? I can think of country
Yeah.
western artists that I've heard that made me go,
Crazy.
you know what I mean? And I'm like, I'm not even like I don't feel like I fully appreciate. I know what I like in those genres and stuff, and I'll hear a song and go, God, this just blows me away. Taylor Swift is another example. I'll be like, he's Taylor Swift, and then I'll hear a song and go, man, she's so fucking good. Like, how is she so good? Like, you know?
Jason
Yeah.
secretly got married to her before she got
Yeah, this
engaged.
guy ain't got a chance, man. Sorry.
He's got pictures.
Bigamy laws are in effect. Yeah, so you know, if you guys have any more questions, shoot away. If you guys think of something later, you can always ask me or hit me up.
well, here's my question.
Mhm.
So far, you know, you've heard a lot of my hip hop tracks and stuff like that, but you
Uh-huh.
know, this round's gonna be this round. I'm gonna make my instrumental roll for this round. I'm not gonna release the one I already got. But but do you think that you could turn one of my songs into a grunge song? This WAG track into a grunge song?
I think you could I mean, I know for a fact you can turn any song into another song. It's not a hard thing to
Oh
do.
yeah.
You just need to delve into the genre a little bit. That's kind of what this is about. Like
Yeah.
WAG Contest was about genre mashups. I've done genre mashups so much. I mean,
This is the problem I got. Yep. Man, Jason, you got some good music, man.
thank you.
It's your fault because I didn't really like the screaming music, like you all in the microphone. So
I think a lot of
it's your
people
fault for me
we do.
getting me that.
Yeah, you're welcome, man. I think that we all do it. We all have you know, a stereotype that we think about a certain thing, and then once we kind of listen to it, we're like, well, first we start by going, well, everything else is that, but this one song I like is not like that. And it kind of opens the door to you going, well, it's not what I thought, you know. I thought it was like, you know, I thought it was pussy music or whatever. And you're actually like, you know what I mean? You're listening to it and you're like, this is really good, you know, you're listening, you get into it. So the best thing an artist can do is get you to like their music, you know what I mean? Especially
Mhm.
as somebody that's coming in with a blank slate. If you know, it's like this, you
Yeah.
go to a show and the band's open for your favorite band. And there are always nobody bands that are local that you've never seen, or maybe you have. And one of those bands, I guarantee you'll always be going like, I was really impressed by those guys. And they'll be nothing like the band that you came to see. You know what I mean? The
Right.
promoters do this all the time. And so I mean, so many times in my life, I've discovered new
Well,
music and new things by going to shows and going
I don't give a fuck,
and just
man.
having an open mind.
Y'all leave that alone, man.
Polka is a little bit
I'm
blues.
saying.
Polka, I just now realized it. Hell yeah.
So I just want to congratulate everybody that made it through, and I want to say, you know, looking forward to hearing all you guys' songs. And like I said, I'm always around if you guys need to
Oh, I
shoot
didn't
something
mean to
off
have my
me
mic
or want me to listen to, or just have a stupid question. Nothing is too stupid for me.
Oh, and
Just ask away.
Jason is as much a master engineer and
Oh yeah,
a
I'm gonna put it out
sound
there.
guy as he is a metalhead.
I
So
have a
you can
I'm
get
working on
advice there too.
yeah, I'm working on a full cover of the Rain and Blood album by Slayer right now. And so when I'm through with that, I'm gonna publish it and let everybody hear that. And I think everyone's gonna like it. Well, I like
love
it already.
everything
So
you've already let me listen to. Sounds awesome, dude.
thank you, man.
Hey, Jason, I have
The
a
best is yet to
question.
come.
Oh,
Yes.
straight from the Ange.
Yeah,
Yes, ma'am.
yeah. Well, see, Jason has a little trigger, so I'm gonna cock it back a hot minute. So with all this AI music
Oh,
and spam and
she went
things
there.
like
She knows. She
that.
knows how to push my buttons.
Okay,
Yeah.
so a lot of artists are receiving emails and saying their labels and asking them to sign with them and things like that. What are
I kind
things
of
they should look out for,
okay.
especially with
I'll
all
tell
of
you
that
right
going on?
now. The first
I
thing you
won't
should
take you down the full AI
yeah,
out,
yeah.
okay? But
So the first thing that you should know as a musician that record labels never sign somebody online. They don't sign people that just publish their music online. They're looking for bands. They're looking for a band that is a unit that can prove that they can play shows. The ultimate goal for a record label is to sign a band, put out an album, and then support the album with a tour. Like you will never get a record label that wants to sign you, do an album, and then just sit on your ass. So the benefit already is they're just never going to be looking for solo artists. They're looking for bands, and I mean, it might be different in a couple different genres, but I'm pretty much sure it's all the way across the board. If you're a good rapper, that's great, but they want to see you live and they want to see the fans interact with you because that's where the labels will make their money. They don't make them off of record sales. They make it off of the shows that you go to. So I'll tell you right now, no record label person is ever going to cold send you an email. That's never going to happen. You actually have to work hard to get your music into their hands. And one of the ways that the bands do it is they have showcases, which is a show where a bunch of different bands perform and record label people are invited to go out and watch. One of the golden rules for A&R for any record, and I know this from I'm a friends with the A&R rep from Sony, is they never take unsolicited work. Meaning I can't send my music to them. They have to be recommended it by another person in their either their company or another A&R rep. So they have to discover it organically. If not, then they're not doing their job and they just don't do it. But the sad part is people send their music to these people and they don't realize that they're not going to listen to it. They just literally will throw it in the trash because they're not allowed to accept unsolicited music. So if you are contacted by a label rep, they will always give you their title, they will give you their phone number, and they will have a header on their email from the company. So if they're messaging you an email from Sony, their email address will be at sony.com. If you're being contacted by somebody from, any record label, they'll send you the email from the record label's email. It'll never be a personal email. That's never a thing. They want a trail showing their interactions with you before you sign the contract because it has to be on board. It has to be completely legal. You know what I mean? So the best thing you could do as a musician is not to stop, keep going, but just be realistic about your music. If you want to get your music out there, if you want to be, if you want people to like your stuff and you want to have a lot of fans, then get in a band, get on stage, go out to places where bands play, get to meet the people in the scene, go to bars, do karaoke, do whatever you can to get people to see you and like you. You know what I mean? To see you performing. That's the number one rule that I have for that. And so, and a lot of people are very unrealistic about it. They just think that, they can just keep shitting out music in their basement and they're eventually going to get somewhere. Well, you'll get somewhere, but it's never going to be anywhere with a record label and you're never going to go on tour and you're, you know what I mean? You need to be realistic about this stuff. If you want to be involved in music like that, you have to work hard. And that means getting out there every night or on the nights when you need to. Also,
Damn,
AI, there's nothing wrong with AI and let me finish, Tony. Nothing wrong with AI in music. A lot of people do it and they use it. I don't think there's a problem with it. I think the problem is the non-disclosure of people using AI in their music. And so when I'm not forced to, but when I listen to something and I discover that it's AI, I'm immediately turned off because you didn't tell me that you were using that thing and I had the best intentions of you. Not that it's a bad thing, but I think that I should be able to see right up front that it was AI. And I tell you, 9 times out of 10, when I hear an AI song, the person isn't saying that it's AI. They're just publishing it or, it's just on YouTube and I'll listen to it. And there's a lot of telltale signs. AI is not perfect in any way, shape, or form. So use AI responsibly. Also, like, don't. One of the best things you can do is get away from having AI generate your lyrics. It's a really poor thing. Use your own brain for your own stuff. Even if you don't think it's good, someone out there will like it because it's original. Don't rely on AI to do the thinking for you. Think for yourself. It'll build up that brain and get you to a better place. So always do that.
Well, I'm a little bummed that Sony record deal I got on BandLab yesterday isn't
I
legit, but thank
so
you.
my best friend in real life has worked for Sony for the past 40 years. Like, we worked for a record label. One of our first jobs when we were kids was at this record label that was bought out by Sony. He continued on with the company. I fucked off. He still works there. He works with a ton of artists. You know, he has Slipknot albums on his wall. And, you know, if I have any questions that aren't intuitive, I will ask him and other people that I'm still friends with in the business. I have tons of them. And literally, I mean, you have to work really hard. You cannot just, like, making songs and recording songs is not enough. You have to get out there and show that you want it. You know what I mean? And when you show people that you want it by getting on stage and bearing yourself for everybody, the record label see it too. That's
Yeah,
about it.
there is a grind you have to go through there.
Yeah. It's very hard. And I don't want to stop anybody from making music. That's not my intention. I think that making music online is still very viable. You can still become an artist, solo artist. You don't need a big label to support you when it comes to that, because a big label is really only for supporting you on a big tour. You know, they pay for all the expenses, they pay for everything, something that you couldn't do as a person. So if your intention is just to make music and have fun doing it, you know, but don't get confused and don't think that, you know, you're gonna change the world by just writing songs in your basement. Like, there are people that are doing like 100 times more than that every minute of their lives, and they want it, you know. And those are the people that the record labels are gonna gravitate towards. Yeah,
Yes,
that's it.
streaming artists and performing artists are two different
Right. I
types
go
of
on I
artists
go
to
on
the record
Twitch and I
labels.
look all the time for people, and I find people. There's a very different crowd from the people that are recording. There's a lot of them on there that are recording music, and it's all great. They're all really good. And then there's the other side where people are actually performing, and it seems like it's nothing, but man, they're doing it every night. They're going on there, spending 3 or 4 hours, sometimes, you know, up to 12 hours on a stream, taking requests from the audience, singing their guts out. Those people have a good shot at going somewhere. Even though they are solo, they have better shot than a lot of people, you know. So I think if you also want to, you know, if you want to get a good inspiration for your music, go on Twitch and watch some of the artists on there, and you'll meet some people that'll make you feel good about what you do, and that will inspire you to do more. And I always say this too, above else, like, don't let BandLab define you. Like, BandLab is a bunch of musicians. We're all musicians. So everything is great. Everybody's going to support each other. That's just the way it is. But you're never going to get real fans, which is what you want as a musician. You want people that don't listen to music to buy your music and listen to your music. So take your music off of BandLab, take chances, make YouTube videos, put your music on Spotify, go on Twitch, stream your music, sing it, do anything that will reward you for the thing that you're doing. Because when you get stuck in a rut, or I won't even say it's a rut, but when you get stuck on BandLab, there's no payback. BandLab will never support you. You will never get a dime. You will never get anything other than a like or a follow, and that doesn't mean anything to anybody when everybody's a musician. Like I said, everybody's going to like everything. So you want to take a chance, you want to do something, you want to go to the places where people are taking really real chances every day. And like I said, you don't have to get a band to do that. That just means putting your music on YouTube, putting it on Spotify, putting it on services where you get rewarded for the plays, or you get rewarded for the watches and likes. It's a real thing. I said this before. I think that once everybody gets to a certain point with their music, I think they should try to do like a streaming show, like what we're doing now. Go on Twitch, go on YouTube, stream your music, talk about music, develop a brand for yourself. Let people know you outside of the band lab thing. Get comfortable. You know what I mean?
Or come on Angified. The best place to
It
come to
still has a
stream your
good
music.
place. Yes. I mean, and I'm not saying band lab is a terrible place. Definitely, it's brought us all together, and I love that. But it's never going to reward you for what you
With pros
do.
and
If you
cons,
want that, then you need to go places that do it, and don't be afraid. Just do it. Just like Rusty says, don't be afraid. You know?
No, it's don't be scared.
Yeah. Take chances. Take chances. Music is about taking chances. So sometimes you have to take a chance. You don't have to fucking risk your life. It's just, it's your music. You're going to put it out there anyway. Why not do it? Better late than never,
And take your reputation serious. Take your presence
Right.
serious, your brand.
Be mindful of your brand. Be mindful of what you want people to think you are. I always tell people, like, when it comes to like putting your music on places like YouTube and Spotify, you really want to develop yourself as an individual. And so a lot of times you might want to think about using your real name, because people start to identify with the artist that you are, and they lose track of who you are as a person. So sometimes it can mean a lot to use your real name and come across like a real person.
Yeah.
Think of that. Think of it.
Well, I thank you so much, Jason, for
You're
coming
welcome.
in
You're
and
welcome.
consulting and
I'll talk
answering
all
our
fucking night.
questions.
Yeah, you're
I'll
like
write
the
a book
Tony
someday.
Robbins
Lou,
of
do you have a
music consulting.
question?
I do want everybody to do good. I love
I
everybody in
can't
here.
hear you.
Who's talking?
check 1 2.
Lou,
Lou.
he said, can I ask something, or can
Sure.
I talk?
Yes.
So that's I was
Can you hear me? How am I sound?
Yeah.
Yes, Lou.
Yeah.
I'm just curious. I would love to respond a little bit. I believe everything you say is spot on. I mean, different avenues and different areas besides band lab to progress your career and all that. I'm gonna back
You gotta
up.
take chances.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
back up about 20 seconds. So, defending the fact that plays and views aren't important to me. If I had 30 plays, I'm very backed up and not confident. When I get 1,600 plays, I'm very confident. When I get
Some people,
44,000 plays, I'm extremely confident. So for me personally, to respond to the fact you said plays don't matter
there's
and
nothing wrong with
views don't
that.
matter, but for me, the confidence of people saying, "Wow, I actually looked at him for even 2-3 seconds,"
That's,
psychologically makes me feel like I can pursue
But
different
but
avenues.
but you need to
well,
feel that confidence regardless of that
yeah.
kind of
I,
reassert.
Because
I-
wait,
there's
If
nothing
you
wrong with
if
that,
you
but the
need
ultimate
if you
goal of our
need
music
that
isn't to boost our confidence. It's
I
to
knew this was going
become
to start
better
a big bullshit,
musicians.
but what I'm saying is, says who?
uh
Says the industry that we're a part of. If you
What
want to be
industry?
relevant, then you need to
Being
get
a
out
human
there.
being?
your confidence
You
shows in
can like it.
your
I mean, like I
material.
said, if you're on a platform with all musicians, you're going to get nothing but likes, and you'll never get paid for it, and you'll never get anywhere.
Not looking to get paid for it.
Well, I mean, the ultimate goal as a musician is to get your music out there and get paid for it.
Some musicians.
Well, then you're never going to get your music listened to if people don't buy it, is what I'm saying.
If one person listens to my song, weird as I say, I did a good job. I'm just that's how I
Yes,
feel.
you
Then I
win.
would say you're
You
not
win at
doing
that.
it for the reasons that most people do it for, which is to actually get their music out there and become an artist, become an
This is my
original artist.
sanctuary. When I talk to you guys,
Yeah.
Jason,
Yeah.
Tony, and this right here, it pays me $1 million a night. That's all I'm
Yeah,
saying.
everybody that makes music for
Even
their
when
own
I get
thing.
yelled at, Ange yells at me, Tony, that's a
I
problem.
would say there's
Doesn't
nothing
matter.
wrong
I
with that.
love
If
it.
people
I
make music for
fucking
their
love
own
it.
reasons, but if you want to become a professional musician, then you really have to play the game, and that
At
means
53
doing the
years
thing.
old, I've been a pro in a lot of things in my life. It's not going to be a musician.
and I have to
Well,
ask
then this
you,
advice is
Lou.
not for you.
Lou, I do have to ask you. You were in the winter season of the WAG, correct?
Correct.
Yes. I know that you haven't, watched this season coming in, but we are just finishing up round 2, going into round 3.
Sounds
What
awesome.
did you find the most challenging in the winter season with your collaborations?
I felt pretty easy because my collaboration was such a talented artist. He should be somewhere. It's all where you live, where you're from, and how much money you got. I already understand that a long time ago.
Well, no, I'm talking about that feeling that you got, just like that one like, how that collaboration also made you feel like a
We
winner.
already won. We already won.
Yes.
Already won.
Yes.
We
And
already
that is
won
the story of
first
the
time I
WAG,
texted him,
everyone.
and he
Let me also add that
he
if
sent me a
you
thing
are
called Fire, I already
content with
won the
what,
competition.
yeah,
All right, let
if
me
you're content
spotlight
with
you
what
back
you
up
do as a
there.
musician, you don't need anybody to verify you. You don't need somebody to pat you on the back. You don't need somebody to like your stuff. You're going to go and get better at what you're doing no matter what. That's
I've been
all.
doing music with Tony Dumont since 7th grade, and he always laughed at everything I come up with. And he laughs, but he laughs in a loving way of, Lou, keep fucking doing what you're doing. Don't change what you're doing. It's you, and keep it on. And that's what makes me feel great. Right now, I look at my watch. I'm like, I have another half an hour. I don't want to go in there. That's the real world. This is the realistic bubble that I want to be in.
No, music is
24/7.
escapism. Music is
It's not an escape.
escapism
I
for
want to be
some.
here
Well, a
24/7.
lot of
Sleep
artists
in the
use
couch.
it
I
to.
wake up here. I want to write some
Well,
music tomorrow.
music's
tomorrow.
therapy. And just when you think you figured it out, you find a new
Something else that I
genre.
have to.
You know, and you try something a new way, step out of your box and find another part of you and be proud of you for even going ahead and attempting to do something different.
Yes.
You know, because
kiss
that
it,
is
I'd make
very,
that
very difficult. Even, you know, change isn't easy for everyone. So to change just a little hair of a thing, you know.
You're right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
congratulations,
And like I
everyone.
said, guys, this doesn't apply to everybody. This applies to people that really want to push their stuff and they really want to get their music out there and they have aspirations to maybe label interests and stuff like that. If you're happy with your music and you just want to make music, keep doing what you're doing. Don't let what I'm saying bother you because it should never bother you. There's two different games going on there. There's people that are making music for a different reason. They're making it for fun. They're doing it because they love it and because of the feelings they get from it. I would never discount that from anybody. In fact, that's one of the important steps of becoming a professional musician and getting yourself out there. So always, always consider that.
Yeah, if there's 10 levels to a musician, the first 5 are for fun, for love, for passion.
Mhm.
The next 5 are like, damn, I want to make a living out of it.
Yeah. Or I want to get on stage or,
Yeah.
play with my favorite bands, or just
There's
I want
something
to
about the
visit the world,
gratification
People
that
say that.
musicians seek out that everybody thinks that we all need to become rich and be on stage. I feel like,
Well,
like
it's like I said,
as
it's a
long as
very
you feel
small part of it,
successful.
but there are people with very serious intentions with music, and that's basically what I'm saying. If you take your music seriously like that, then that's the way that you should go.
Never
But
use music as a last resort. That's what I feel.
Not if you're looking to eat and get a roof over your
No, and
head.
especially at our age, it's already, like you said, it's already kind of too late. It's never too late when it comes to that, but it's kind of unrealistic to think that someone was going to become an Olympic level musician, and when they're 50 years old or whatever.
Correct.
Yeah. It's not impossible, but there's already people that are young and that are doing it, and it's
Well,
like,
I'll tell you
goddamn, I
guys
got to
all
compete
about it.
with them.
About a year from now, I'll tell you guys all about it. So it'd be
Yeah,
fun.
yeah. I'd love to hear it, man.
Oh, you
Thanks
know I'll be
again
there.
thanks again for watching and tuning in for round 2 results and round 3 wheel spins. Jason for coming in, answering any questions.
Love you.
You guys all know where to find him if you have any questions or anything. Yes, Jason's usually available in the evenings. And I hope you guys have the best luck in your wheel or not so wheelhouse.
Outside of your wheel.
Oh,
It's
this
what's a
round
genre
is
showdown.
this round is gonna be fire.
Summer series. I plead the 5th. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night.